Well, right now we're going to go straight into the heart of a topic of discussion for this morning, which is something that's on the front burner of everybody's lips right now because it's the election season. And of course, it is politics. Well, a third gale of defections of high-profile politicians has hit the country recently, and in the first and second waves, the decampees were directly and indirectly wooed to cross over to the APC. Now, for this third one, those cross-carpeting are the ones somehow lobbying other political parties to embrace them. Moreover, the ongoing gale of defections cut across the two major parties. Now, among the latter-day prominent decampees are Senate Majority Leader Yahya Abdullahi, Minority Leader of the Senate Einaya Abaribe, Senator Adamu Alero, amongst others. Now, some of these senators resigned due to internal crisis in their various political parties that saw many of them edged out of their political parties' primaries. Now, to discuss the impact of these political realignments, we have in the studio a member of the People's Democratic Party from Kebbi State, Idris Kalugu. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, so this gale of defections that we're actually having, there seem to be a fallout of the primary elections that were carried out in both political parties, and some people are feeling discontent with the results of those political parties. Is that an indication of the lack of internal democracy within the parties that we have?
Well, in other aspects, I will say yes, and in the other aspect, I will say no.
Okay.
Because if you look at it closely, we, the PDP, have been expecting more members from other parties to join the PDP. The majority leader, that of Adamale, are all from Kebbi State. These are prominent politicians. Having them in PDP is a plus in PDP. And with these two major politicians, we're going to win Kebbi easily. With Adamu Aleru, we have like 60% chances of winning Kebbi. Just like I said, we're still expecting more.
Interesting. You know, these people used to be in the PDP before. They moved away from the PDP on occasion by similar kind of incidents. What does this speak about our political parties? I mean, are we not supposed to be moving away from this to politics of ideology? Why should we be celebrating people who were rejected from other platforms? In a way,
they were actually not rejected. You know, politics is a game of interests. It is their own opinion, and they feel that PDP is now going to be the winning team. And everybody is urging to join the People's Democratic Party.
All right, so, sorry, talking about interests and winning, and Sunday just talked about something very important. They were part of the PDP. They left, and now they're back again. If, for perchance, a situation arises that they feel, since now they feel the PDP is the winning team, just like you actually said, and they feel that the chances of those wins are actually slimming, and what was going to stop them from leaving again?
Well, just like I said, it's a game of interests, and they have their own opinion. Nobody's going to stop them. It is their own choice. But for now, what matters to PDP, they're in PDP.
So the party is not putting anything in place to make sure that things like this don't happen?
Well, that's why if you check even in our form, it indicates that the interest and nomination forms. It also says that if anything should happen, you are not to take it further, like maybe kind of, let's say, outcome of the primaries and everything. You in any way are supposed to support the other candidate that emerges, which is new, unlike what we have in 2019 and 2011, 2015. So this is one of the few measures taken from the PDP family. And then, inshallah, we're not going to have that much problem this time around.
I'm happy to hear that you're saying that they are preparing for more defections. Apparently, you have seen signals that more of these defections are going to happen. Can you let us in on some of those signals that you have? Is it just a Kebbi thing? Are we going to see this defection across several other states, say, for instance, where the APC is a major, is the ruling party?
Sure, it's across the whole country because this is the first time we checked that there's no any household in Nigeria that has no any PDP member. And the Nigerians are now rallying behind the PDP because they are seeing hope and the atmosphere for change is here, the real change.
When you say the atmosphere for change at the risk of cutting you, is it to change the change?
Yes.
Or to continue with the change, the time that we saw.
to change the change.
The time that we saw. And I would like your input, really. Why do you think there is, in your estimation, there is a growing romance around the PDP as against what we currently have today?
Well, we in the PDP have never been relaxed and calm like now. Because surely, inshallah, we know we're taking over. The Nigerians, majority of them are solidly behind us. And then imagine of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar was here in Adamawa. It's an excellent opportunity that we, the PDP, have. And then you can see when it comes, and also the choice of VP. Both Atiku Abubakar and Okowa are grassroots politicians. These are competent candidates. That's why you see everywhere you go, Atiku Abubakar is the candidate to beat. That's why the whole party I was talking about Atiku Abubakar, Atiku Abubakar, Atiku Abubakar. So this time around, the PDP, we are ready, and Nigerians are solidly behind us.
All right, well, talking about the Atiku Okowa ticket, there have been some grumbling, some discontent from some quarters when Okowa actually emerged as the vice presidential nominee for the PDP ticket. What's the PDP doing to actually make sure that these grumblings just stay as grumblings and they don't mean something else, like maybe leading to the defections that we're talking about, that maybe some people might decide to leave because of that discontent, that they feel that Okowa wasn't really the right choice for them?
In life, whatever decision you will make, you have a party that would not agree to it, some party will agree to it. We have come a long way in such time in PDP. And just like I said earlier, PDP have never been in better position like now. And in PDP, we are one big family. Despite all these things, we are still in good terms, and we still relate very well to each other. It's just a matter of time, disagreement and agreements, and then we'll come to terms very soon.
Interesting. Let me now speak like an advocate of the parties other than the PDP. People from the other party, especially the ruling party, would say that they are quick to always point out 16 years of misgovernance, 16 years of misrule. They said 16 years of, they call it the Poverty Development Party. Do you think we have come to a point where people can now trust you enough to forget the 16 years? Or was it the 16 years to forget, actually, in comparison to the last 7?
Well, you as a journalist, I'll bet you go out there, ask 10 people, who do you think serve us well in this country? 9 out of 10 will say it's PDP. And that's why you see all corners, everybody is now saying it is time to change the change. So I don't even want to answer this like in my own way, but this is what the majority of people are saying out there. That's why if you go out there, everywhere is chanting PDP, Atiku, everywhere. every corner, because our 16 years is far better. And then now Nigerians have an opportunity to choose for the next president. And PDP have presented the best candidates. And lots of Nigerians are happy about it. And we have new members in PDP. Just recently, we have about almost getting to like 13 point something million new members added up. That's to show you how people are eager to join politics, and Nigerians are so eager to see that they have changed the change.
Well, at the risk of sounding like an advocate of the other political parties, just like Sunday said, you guys had 16 years to run the show. The change has 7. Some might argue that, all right, why not give them the same opportunity to have the same 16 years to see whether they could be able to get it right? As you're saying, they're not getting it right now. Maybe give them an additional 9 now to the 7 that they already have.
I think 8 is enough. We have tested the 8, and then we want to continue from that 16.
Well, we are beginning to see a major change in our political landscape. Today, prior to this time, about this time, you would notice that the presidential race is usually a 2-horse race. Now, we have individuals that are beginning to stir some kind of interest and attention from not the 2 major political parties. And you know who I'm talking about, Peter Obi on the one hand, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso on the other hand. And in fairness, we have seen a huge following to these 2 individuals, the kind that we have not seen in recent time in our political landscape. How would you describe the emergence of these 2 candidates in adding to the mix that we already have with the big weights between Atiku and, of course, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well, which party is Peter Obi?
Labour.
Labour. Okay. You are talking about the national, not even state. When you talk about state level, I would say, okay, Peter Obi is doing good in his own state. If you talk about state in Kano, I would say, okay, Kwankwaso is doing well in Kano State. On general election, NNPP and the Labour Party may come a long way in their state levels. But you will be surprised how people will massively vote for PDP. Because if we go to the north now, for example, and ask a commoner and say, like, do you know Labour Party? I think the first thing he would do, he or she would be like, is there a new party or something like that? And then they'll be asking you, who is Peter Obi? Then you talk about Kwankwaso as well. If you go to the east and the south, lots of them don't even know who Kwankwaso is. So I think we should be talking about 2 parties, which is the APC and PDP. These are the 2 candidates that 80% of Nigerians have been watching and looking at to see who is going to be the next president among them. In the other side, maybe I think, you know, politics is a game of interest. Just like everybody has his or her right to decide which party to join, Kwankwaso and Peter Obi, they can go to any party they wish. But what matters the most is who gets elected. The 2 candidates we are looking at, Asiwaju and Atiku Abubakar, are the major candidates. So these 2, we can decide to say, okay, let them have their own states. We have 36 plus Abuja, we have 37. And the people of Kano that I know, lots of them will go for Atiku at the presidential level.
Well, that's quite an interesting take on it. And with that, we will wrap up this segment of the discussion. Idris Kalgo, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we hope to have you again subsequently, hopefully to discuss more on the PDP and other political issues.
Thank you very much.